Welcome, one and all. Thursday afternoon. Good to have you with us. Rico and I having some great side conversations. We'd like to welcome you into them right now. We're going to play some audio for you. We're just going to jump right in. And it is a topic on this show often, which is using a team's history against them and whether that's legitimate or not. And right now that conversation centers around your Detroit Football Lions and whether your lack of belief is from actual things or the PTSD of this team's turbulent and disappointing history. Well, a national network used you as a conversation point, so you know we're going to bring it to you. NFL Network, Kyle Brandt, compared the Lions to that uncle that everyone seems to have. I'll let Kyle Brandt explain, but it's all about whether you give a person or a team, you give them that benefit of the doubt, or do you use the history against them? I think Kyle Brandt put it best when he described Uncle Lenny. Take a listen. I agree totally with Kyle Brandt of NFL Network. I agree totally. The Lions and all their failures have nothing to do with this team, this coach, this staff, this roster, this GM. Both things can be true. But I am with Kyle Brandt on that. Maybe that's why I'm believing in them, and you're not.
Could be.
Because you are a hateful SOB, and you don't want to give Uncle Lenny a second chance.
No, because here's the thing.
Hurtful.
Kyle is being disingenuous. Because if I was on that panel, I would say, okay, Kyle, Uncle Lenny brought a date. He dropped 20 pounds. He's got a brand new suit. But then Uncle Lenny comes up and says, hey, nephew, I got this opportunity I've been working on. You think you can let your uncle hold $5,000? I promise you. Kyle would have said, yeah, you know what? I'm a little strapped for money. This all forgiving thing like, oh, because you got a fresh new look, you forget about the past. You don't. But you know what you do with a guy like Uncle Lenny? Uncle Lenny, show me that you're better. Show me that because I want to believe in you. So show me that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with just saying that because anybody who said you're not letting Uncle Lenny stay with you for 6 months and you're not letting Uncle Lenny hold $5,000 for you.
This is disappointing to me because I am not here to admonish or argue with you. I'm really not in the mood. I'm in a great mood today. You are setting up straw man arguments. Asking when your uncle, who you may have forgiven and said, I'm happy with where you're at, a.k.a. the Lions, when you start adding a layer to the Sunday and go, but now he wants $5,000 from you. Then the topic would be, did you buy Lions season tickets? That's the comparative you're doing.
To say all is forgiven, that's disingenuous. Take away the $5,000. Take away the can I stay with you for a while? You're still going to be looking at him saying, man, I really hope he's got his life together. I'm rooting for him. I want this to work out. But in the back of your mind, you always got that doubt like, we thought this the last time. And he let us down.
That's how I feel about our sales staff. 248-539-9797. But let me say this on a more positive note. I think this can be a good discussion. But it's going to take representation from both sides. Like Rico has a point in that you can forgive the Lions, a.k.a. in the words of Kyle Brandt, Uncle Lenny, without having to go all in. Versus where I'm at, I get upset when people, and I'm not saying Rico, we have people call up and go, well, remember what they did to us in 93? And you're like, I don't care. That is meaningless to this conversation. It doesn't matter to me. I'm looking at the 2023 Lions, not with Wayne Fonts or Marty Morningwig or any other stiff they've had, not with the old man, not with some, Russ Thomas GM. I'm just looking at this here now. So I guess my bias is I get so tired of hearing about how much they hurt you in the past when really they were only hurting themselves.
Right. And in all fairness, I have not used and said, oh, it's because of the past.
I know.
I just want I want them to do better. I want them to succeed. I want you to be right. I want it by Thanksgiving that we see the little asterisk next to their name.
And Texas is back.
Now you're pushing it. But I want all of those things. I want Detroit to celebrate. I want them to have a good team. I need to see it. I'm not holding the Sterling Sharp catch against you. I'm not holding the pass back and forth. I'm not holding any of that, but I also don't have the blind faith because you haven't earned that blind faith.
So which side of this are you on? And again, NFL Network is where the audio's from, and it's a conversation about, they were talking about the Lions. A lot of people have the it's the Lions approach as their main argument to why they don't believe, or why that's their argument to why they won't win the division. To which I would say, the Arizona Cardinals went to a Super Bowl. The Cincinnati Bengals are now one of the best franchises in football. The Buffalo Bills went a quarter of a century without winning a playoff game. And I know that that's not, 32 years, but it's pretty close. Mm-hmm. There are bad teams. Right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars are one of the hottest teams in the league. I just make a point. If you have a conversation and you don't think they can win it because ... football stuff, I'm not mad. But I do agree with Brandt that if you, not that Rico's doing it, but if you bring their history up, it is the equivalent of not being nice to Uncle Lenny and acting like he can't change. Now, I'm not lending him $5,000.
Come on, nephew.
Nope, we're all set.
Nephew, man.
Nephew, I need you to meet these people. I got this opportunity.
Nope, we're good. David, your thoughts?
My thoughts are, give Uncle Lenny a hug. Embrace Uncle Lenny.
That's right from the pulpit.
He is wearing a suit. He is new. He has changed. Believe in the change and embrace Uncle Lenny and say, Uncle, man, let's go. Let's walk together. Let's walk down the street together. Let's do this together.
The minute Uncle Lenny does something unscrupulous, a.k.a. the Lions not using timeouts correctly and losing a game, you have every right to then kick Uncle Lenny, a.k.a. the Lions, out of your vehicle.
You're right. Uncle Lenny has the short leash.
That's right.
Unc, yeah, you screw up. Yeah.
I think the key, if you're going to root for the Lions, you have to set up almost like an electronic fence. You live on the prairie and you don't want your dog wandering into the cornfields. Maybe you set up a little low voltage fence. It's not my cup of tea, but, just a little buzz, just to, let's keep everything in order. You need to set up that electronic fence around your emotions. Because if you don't, Uncle Lenny may hurt you. But this team, I think they are the new Uncle Lenny. Maybe not a suit, but at least it's a shirt with buttons. Perhaps they applied deodorant that morning.
He showed up with a date.
And didn't show up like the clown from Uncle Buck. Right. That, to me, I'm willing to give them belief and show a little forgiveness. Everybody deserves that second chance. Or 20th, in the case of the Lions. 248-539-9797. Now, let's go to our very own Uncle Lenny. Kenny, your thoughts on this?
He's sitting behind David. Come on now.
I didn't say deadbeat. I said Uncle Lenny.
Oh, jeez. No, I'm with Uncle Lenny. I'm walking down the street with him and David. We embraced. We had a nice hug. We had a nice conversation.
So the history does not play a role for you. You are willing to be hurt again.
New regime, new coach, new GM. It's all washed away. I don't buy into the whole, it's the Lions, they'll never do anything.
I can't do that.
It's not even fun being a fan. Why are you a fan if that's the way you behave and that's the way you think? Rico's not. He left, and that's why.
No, but wouldn't you look at using the Uncle Lenny, after a while, Uncle Lenny lets you down so many times that it just becomes old hat. Him letting you down is no longer the exception, it's the rule. It's just what happens. You just realize and you wait, okay, he's going to go to jail. He's going to do this. He's going to lose his job. Something will happen.
Why does Uncle Lenny have to get arrested? Why can't Uncle Lenny just, not live up to potential?
We've been asking that for years. Why does Uncle Lenny always have to? Why is it always Uncle Lenny?
And if you're just joining, Uncle Lenny's the Lions. Yeah. Kyle Brandt, NFL Network, used that crazy uncle everyone has and said that, look, if the uncle cleans his act up, a.k.a. starts winning games, then why the hell do we have to think about the past? I'm basically asking, is your heart open to be hurt again? Because if it's not, it means you haven't forgiven this team. That's really what it is. If it's not, you're shutting the door in your uncle's face, even though he combed his hair, he showered, and he's held down a job for 6 months.
And what's that going to do? Lead Uncle Lenny right back to his old ways.
Oh,
You got to
sure.
embrace him and hug him and love him, man.
Yeah, Uncle Lenny, grocery cart under an arterial.
Hey,
All because you wouldn't give him a hug at the barbecue.
Hey, nephew, preacher, mind if I, use your couch for a little bit, a couple months?
Well, look, you may not meet the kids, but Uncle Lenny, I'll embrace you.
No, none of that. No, if you embrace Uncle Lenny, you embrace Uncle Lenny. He's hanging out with everybody in the family.
Man, that would be interesting. David, that's a money-making idea. Maybe the church could have a couple of on-site Airbnbs, and anytime you get some of the goofballs in your parish and you're like, I tell you what, why don't you just, you got kicked out of the house? I got you covered. Come on in, low rate. Give you that papal rate.
That's actually a good idea.
Right in the,
Right
in the general fund.
I'm actually that's actually.
Why not, David? We could call it greater spaces at greater life.
You know why? Because one day you may actually see the pastor up in there, and I don't think.
Well, after what David said about his father-in-law
Stop
yesterday,
it.
David's up on that couch. Hi, everybody. David, where the hell did you come from? Oh, I slept in the back last night.
Pastor, thank you for coming here and seeing us as we all say goodnight.
I never left.
I'm gonna stick around.
David's in the chalet watching NFL Network.
Kyle Brandt talking, yeah.
Hey, let me tell you about a couple of friends of mine named Cain and Abel.
Right.
How's everybody doing?
Anybody hungry? I got the keys to the communion cabinet.
And David, the other thing I think we really need to explore for the church is food trucks. I think we bring some food trucks for the Sunday service, and then you get a cut of the profits. People could bring in some snacks. It gets boring listening to the sermon.
The idea is great, but I don't know about making money from this.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know how comfortable I am.
The only thing churches love more than God is money.
No.
So you're saying food trucks
At least
after
the ones where
service?
I come from.
Food trucks after the service? Because that's basically the
I'm saying
dinners
you
in the
give-
basement.
It is.
No, you give people like a wristband, and they can exit and re-enter anytime during the serving and bring their snacks. It gets boring in there. Maybe you need a little fresh air.
Like
In
my
and
mother used to say, you could sit through a movie, you could sit through church.
Well, I disagree with your mother. Movies
Take
are
that
much
up with
more
her.
entertaining than church. I can't, Rico, and
Don't
you know
do
that.
that. Don't do that.
Do not make me say that. 248-539-9797. That's horribly unfair. 97-1.